Claus, and they are doing some virtual, I think they're doing some story time readings. They're recording them now for us so we can the whole month of December. Good morning, everyone. I see it is 8 a.m. We are here, and of course, right now the sun comes out and I can't see a thing, so I apologize if I look like a deer in the headlights. I kind of am right at the moment. I'd like to open this meeting at the Chamber of Commerce by inviting board member Beth Kress up to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You did great. You refrained from going right into the 4-H pledge. Fabulous job. Thank you. Welcome both to our on-site members and to our Zoom crew that's out there. We are going to start off with some introductions. And so I'm actually going to ask each of the on-site members to come up and come in front of the camera and introduce themselves, their names, and who they are with. And we'll avoid the chuckles. Why don't you all start just coming up in front of the camera? Like, yep. Lisa Davis at Hospice Department.
I am Beth Kress. I'm representing Creek Nursing Center.
Good morning. My name is Erin Richmond, representing Hospice of Hope, Ohio Valley.
Good morning. I'm Jerry Schumacher with First State Bank.
I'm Wade Saunders with Ohio Means Jobs, and we are in account executives.
Good morning, Amanda Branoff, Brown County Board of Developmental Disabilities.
Good morning, David Vaughn, Brown County Christian Academy.
Missy Jemison with the Brown County Chamber of Commerce.
And Brandon Elmore with the Brown County Chamber of Commerce.
And I am Lynn Harden with the Brown County Public Library and president of the Chamber of Commerce. And now the Zoom members, can we?
Beverly, would you like to unmute yourself?
There I go. I wasn't very quick on that. Good morning. I'm Bev Gifford with Health Source of Ohio.
Thank you. And Robin?
Good morning. Robin Hakes, Marketing and Admissions Director for Locust Ridge and Sunrise Manor.
You want to introduce yourself as well?
Yeah.
Come on up in front of the camera. Yeah, so people can see you.
Michael Parker with Hospice of Hope.
Good, terrific.
Sit here for now or come back? Or?
You come back later.
All right.
We'll give you time at the end, so you have plenty of time to talk. All right. We also want to just make recognition of, and I know that the agenda was attached to a reminder that went out yesterday, but I just want to point out that we had 2 new members in September, Matrix Global Solutions and Thompson Law Company, and we had 14 renewing members, and I just want to thank all of those members who are participating and contributing to the vitality of the chamber. We have not had a slew of outside events. Obviously, we picked a really good time of the day today because it's only supposed to get colder. But our last big event was the ribbon cutting for Jacob's Ladder, the Mount Orab location, and that was immediately after the last chamber monthly meeting. And Beth Kress did a great job of emceeing that event for us. And we'll move on to committee reports now. Economic Development is led by our board member, Jen Patrick, who could not join us this morning, but Brandon is going to report on the PPE project.
Good morning. So we have distributed up to 50 PPE kits through Brown County Commissioner's Office. And what's in the kits is 10 N95 masks, 100 reusable masks, and a bottle of hand sanitizer. And they are available to business owners who have less than 100 employees and are for-profit business. So nonprofits and schools and other similar businesses that would fall under that category would not be eligible. But we have seen great responses from those in the community and the chamber wanting those kits and seeing probably great use out of them for sure too. So if you are interested in obtaining a PPE kit, just contact the chamber and we will be sure to either deliver it to you or you can pick it up at our office during our office hours.
And we have some today.
And we have some today available for those who are present and need one.
The other economic development project that is currently going on is not one that is just from the chamber. This actually comes from the county commissioners. So on their behalf, I thought I would mention it. They had CARES Act money and set aside, I believe it was $200,000 to assist small businesses that were hurt by the pandemic. The applications for that were due earlier this month, and a review panel looked through slightly over 30 applications. And then the next step in the process is that documentation verifying that they met all the qualifications is being received. I anticipate, and I know that this is what the committee's goal is that everyone who qualifies and meets the minimum requirements will be funded, and they'll be looking at making sure that the funding amount is sufficient to actually make a difference to each of those businesses. So I'm hoping that perhaps by the 1st of November, that process will be finished and the awards will be in process of being made. And now I'm going to turn it over to Missy, who's going to talk about travel and tourism and fundraising.
Yes, hello. So our Travel and Tourism Committee has been working on a big project. I've told you about it for many months now, and it is our illustrated map. That map is complete. We finished that last month. So what we're doing this month is working on the legend, making sure everybody's name matches with their address, that we have the correct information, because that's very important to make sure that we don't distribute inaccurate information. So a lot of those little details take a long time. So our map should be ready here pretty soon. Like I said, we're just finishing up the final touches. And that is it for travel and tourism right now. And then moving on to fundraising, our Brown County-opoly. For those of you that are here in person, we do actually have a prototype of the game. Lynn is holding it up, so if anybody would like to take a look at it, you can actually see what the physical game is going to look like. They are working on them right now, and we should have those ready for distribution the first week of November. So we are still taking pre-sales. The cost is $26 if you pay with cash or check, or $28 if you would like to order online. These are going to make great Christmas gifts. Even if somebody isn't a board game fan, it'll be a nice keepsake of Brown County, and we think they're going to be pretty popular. So make sure that you pre-order yours if you'd like to get some. Okay, on to old business, the fair booth. So the chamber did have a booth at the fair this year, even though it did look slightly different than every other year at the fair. We did allow our members to set up and man the booth for 2 hours, just like we've always done. And I believe that we had every spot filled except maybe 3 or 4 time slots. And everybody that worked the booth said it was a positive experience. Even though they didn't see as many people as they normally do, they were glad to support the junior fair, support the community, and just be out seeing people. We did do a drawing at the fair for one free membership, a new membership, and then one business got a free renewal. So the business that won the free membership was called Tea Garden Electric. So we're working on getting their information in our system and set them up as a new member. And then Mr. Appliance won the free renewal, so they will not have to pay for this upcoming year's membership.
Fabulous. Does anyone have any other old business they'd like to bring up? If not, we'll move on to new business. The normal process for election of your board officers actually starts in August when the chairman of the board creates a nominating committee and comes up with a slate of officers. That was announced at last month's member meeting. The next step in that process is to actually give, according to our bylaws, 10 days for nominations to come from the floor as well. We decided that given the fact that on-site monthly membership meeting attendance is limited, we extended the length of time that we allowed nominations to be brought. None having been received by the chamber, the bylaws then state that if there are no other nominations from the floor, that the slate is actually declared approved. So again, as part of your agenda, you'll see that the slate was myself as president, Alan Bird as vice president, Courtney Worley as secretary, Tasha Lineberger as treasurer, Beth Kress as communications officer, and Darren Schneider as chairman of the board. So we have 3 returning officers and 3 new ones, and I'm looking forward to a great year. Congratulations to all, and we hope to see more members stepping up in the future to take some of the leadership roles for the Deer Chamber of Commerce. We'll also now open up the floor to anyone who may have any specific announcements or events that they want to let the group know about. Now, I know, Lisa, you've got one in particular, so why don't you start, and then others who may have something to talk about can get prepared.
So APCAP's Business Development Entrepreneurship Seminar will be held again this year. Of course, it's going to be a little different. It's virtual this year, and it's going to be a 3-day event. It'll be October 27th, 28th, and 29th from 10 to 11:30. And each day we'll have a guest speaker. On Tuesday, the 27th, it'll be Beth Bullock, and she'll talk about recognizing human trafficking in the workplace. And then after her presentation, we'll have a quick resource section. And during that time, the Brown County Chamber will speak, the Adams County Chamber and First State Bank. On the second day, we'll have the SBA speaking, and it's about the PPP loan forgiveness and an EIDL overview. Bureau of Workmen's Compensation, the SBDC, and the USDA will also speak that day. And then on the last day, we have a motivational speaker, and her topic is the funny thing about stress. Of course, everybody's feeling a lot of stress this year, small business owners especially. So she'll talk about stress and kind of put a funny twist to it. And Wade from the BNR and Marlene Fout from the MBAC will be speaking that day in the quick resource. And then, did I forget who? Oh, Paul Hall.
Yes.
Yeah, Paul Hall that day also will be speaking. And Missy has been sending out information, and she has some flyers. You can register online, or you can contact me or Missy, and we'll get you registered.
David Vaughn, Brown County Christian Academy. We had our annual fundraiser last Saturday night, the spaghetti dinner and silent auction. And I just want to come up and thank all of you who contributed to the silent auction. We exceeded last year's total by $5,000, which is awesome. Yeah, and the First State Bank there was one of them.
Is there anyone else who would like to?
Good morning again. I'm Jerry Schumacher with First State Bank. Also, too, this is a plug for the celebration of lights, which you probably remember every year around Christmas time. Used to be at the hospital, now it's been at the fairgrounds 4 or 5 years. So this year, we're going to go ahead with the celebration of lights. There will not be an in-gathering meeting or event with food, but what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and solicit selling trees and luminaries. Terry Bauman will be sending letters out soon, and hopefully in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And that way we can still have the lights at the fairground. You can drive in and see them. And also too, I think Barbara Ashmore and her group is going to have some lights inside the arena. So it'd make a nice little, evening drive where you can see some nice Christmas lights. And so if you got any questions, you can contact the chamber office. They can give you Terry Bauman's contact information, and hope is another success. Thank you.
Is there anyone on Zoom who would like to share anything with the rest of the group?
Doesn't look like it.
It's nice to know that there are some annual anticipated events that are continuing to go on regardless of what's going on with the pandemic. We now are going to move into what we've called our membership focus section of the meeting. Normally in October, we roll out a member survey. This is our opportunity to get some feedback from members about what's been going on. Now, normally we ask things like, what was your favorite location for a meeting, and that kind of thing. And in the odd circumstances of this year, we've changed some of those questions to actually look more forward to, and we'll be using this in our strategic planning. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually break into some small groups. Now, you'll be getting an email with the surveys eventually, and we really encourage you to go ahead and fill those out individually. But we're going to work in some small groups this morning. The Zoom people will work with either with Missy and Brandon, and then Beth and I will break the rest of us into 2 smaller groups, and we'll do some small group answers to these questions and then share them at the end of this little session. So we'll go ahead, and I don't know if that's something you've got to share with the people on Zoom, the actual copy of the survey, and we'll make sure everybody's got a copy here at the meeting, and we'll start doing that for the next 10 minutes or so.
Should we keep time? Like,
yeah, I would say by 10 minutes we'll have finished in our groups and come back.
Okay.
So, all right. Everybody get a copy.
All right, so Brandon and I are going to be working with you guys here on Zoom. Can you hear us okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. Okay, so between the 3 of you, we were kind of limited in some of our speakers and topics in 2020, but was there anything that we did that you did enjoy in 2020? Any of our trainings, whether it be virtual or anything that we did prior to the shutdown? Do you have a favorite, Beverly?
I didn't participate in any of them. I'm semi-retired.
Okay.
So I don't recollect doing any of the other trainings.
Okay. Okay. What about you, Robin? Was there any trainings or topics or speakers that you really enjoyed in 2020?
I enjoyed when we went to the feed site. I know that was prior to COVID, but I thought that was very enjoyable. That was one of the best meetings.
Okay. Our on location meetings.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that too. I remember that.
Yes, and that was one of the things we were very heartbroken to have to scrap this year was our on location farm meeting. What about you, Anna? Did you have a favorite topic or speaker or training this year?
I think I'm probably a little jaded just because I do so much with the board too, but I thought for the breakfast this year, it was just a really awesome event, especially considering some of the ones we've had in the past. So I would love to hear some people's ideas on what we're supposed to do in 2021 for the breakfast, if anyone has any.
Okay, well, that leads us right into our next question. So for 2021, what topic, speaker, or training would you guys like to see us do? Beverly, do you have any topic or ideas for 2021?
I don't right now, but I'll keep thinking.
Okay. Robin?
I'm thinking maybe hospice. I think a hospice speaker would be really good.
Okay. Actually, we do have a hospice speaker that is going to be speaking today, briefly, but do you think like a more in-depth discussion on hospice?
Yeah, I think it would be good, maybe, to explain exactly what hospice does and how they handle things and just more in detail, but I'm in the healthcare field, so that would be my interest.
Okay. Okay. And did you get to attend the breakfast this year?
I did not.
Okay. And then Anna, did you have any topic or idea that we haven't hit in 2020 that maybe we should try to focus on in 2021?
Yeah, ones I'm going to recommend when we do our strategic planning meeting is in January, doing one on small business taxes. It's kind of front in our mind right now just because Dad's doing a lot with small businesses right now and trying to figure out what to do with the PPP money and all of that good stuff. So there's going to be a lot of differences in the taxes for 2021 than most of us have ever experienced before. So I think that that's something that a lot of people could benefit from on what questions to ask and what things to have prepared, things like that, just because it is so different.
Yes, I agree. That is a good idea. So let's move on to our next question. As our state starts to ease up restrictions on large gatherings, you can see that we've been trying to keep our meetings relatively small and in areas where we can social distance. What type of monthly meetings are you willing to attend while pandemic conditions exist? So do you feel like you could attend in-person meetings, or due to your circumstances, you would only like to attend virtual meetings, or a combination, or do you have another suggestion? So basically, like, what is your comfort level with monthly membership meetings? Beverly?
Personally, right now, with the numbers the way they are, I'm not comfortable.
Okay.
Being in a enclosed area with a lot of people. You know what you're doing today with it outside, that's not bad, but my mom's 83, she has Parkinson's, and so personally there are things I'm not willing to do.
Okay. Okay, that's good feedback. Thank you very much. And Robin?
Personally, I'm comfortable, but because I work in 2 nursing homes and I'm back and forth, I'm really trying to limit my exposure, even though we do get tested weekly or bi-weekly. But as things open up and we start allowing people back into the facility, then I would feel more comfortable going to the meetings again. I'm just trying to restrict myself right now.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. Yep. And Anna?
And then I'm kind of the oddball because we had finally started to kind of do stuff again, and then I got pregnant. So now I am back in my little shell, not doing a whole lot. And with the baby being born in February, I'm probably going to be doing virtual for a little while longer.
Okay. Okay. And then the next question again is about meeting as small groups. What gatherings do you think the chamber should or should not have in 2021? Examples would be ribbon cuttings, industry roundtables, after hours events, in-person trainings. Do you feel that we should or should not promote and have those types of events in 2021? Beverly?
You don't have a crystal ball. We don't know what's going to happen for the rest of 2021. I think probably it'd be wise to go ahead and plan and then readjust if you have to readjust, because that's one thing it seems like everybody's done so well has been able to be flexible and change how those events have looked. Most ribbon cuttings are outdoors, but I know then people go indoors for tours and things, but it still seems like everybody's been able to be flexible and readjust. I hate to see the whole calendar year based on what's going on right now, when next year at this time it may not look like this.
Right. Okay. Thank you. And Robin?
I agree with her. I think we should just move forward and plan. I don't think it's good to live in fear. And I think, you're practicing safe distancing, and, I've been to the after hour events. They're very enjoyable, and I think we need that right now. So I would just go ahead and plan and readjust accordingly.
Okay.
And I'm on the same page with both of them. I think that we've got a wide enough array of people and their opinions on it that we kind of need to target both sectors of the virtual stuff versus the after hours or ribbon cuttings, things like that too, because I think we're gonna have people enjoy both parts.
Right. Okay. All right. Our next question moves into the chamber benefits that we offer. And I don't know if each of you are going to be able to answer this question or not, but Beverly, do you know of any of the chamber benefits that your company uses?
I don't know. I'm not in our HR department, but we're in 8 counties.
Okay.
In Southwestern Ohio, so I doubt that they use any of the county.
Any of them?
I'm not sure. That would have to go to our HR department.
Okay. Okay. And not all of our chamber benefits are money driven. Like for example, so we do have the energy savings program, the workers' comp discount, AirVac, retirement plans, health, dental, and eye insurance. But then some of the benefits are like non-tangible, are networking and things like that, which you are taking part of. So
yeah, and when I get your information, I forward it. So for example, the jobs, being able to post the jobs, I got that email.
Okay.
I forwarded that to our HR department.
Okay, that's a perfect example. So that is a benefit of being part of the chamber, is being able to post online jobs. Right. So that's perfect. Okay. And Robin, are there any benefits that you use, whether it be the money saving benefits or the non-tangible benefits?
I think I use the non-tangible. I mean, that's the reason that I wanted to be part of the chamber, is just the networking and the availability to other businesses in our local area. And the online thing is great because we can advertise events, which is really hard to get out. But I'm like Beverly, I forward things to our HR when you have them available. And if they take advantage of them, great. If not, then, but I just think it's mainly networking.
Okay. Okay. And Anna, are there any specific events that you take advantage of?
A lot of it's the non-tangible stuff, but we also take advantage of the annual sponsorship and getting our name out in front of the members at every event and meeting that we have. And that allows us to even help members further when we have the opportunity to speak in front of them, like we will at the SBA here in about a month. I guess not even that far away, but in just regards to what we can do to help and just providing that information to get out to people, so that even if they don't come to us for their insurance or their tax needs, we're basically serving the community and getting our name out there.
All right, thank you. Is there any of the benefits that I may have mentioned that your company may want more information about?
I'll respond just as a whole. I don't know necessarily about us specifically, but I do know that there are several members that would like some additional information, or even just a quick, email piece that explains some of those tangible pieces of how they can save money with the electric or the workers' comp, so on and so forth. I think that's something a lot of people forget we can do and help them with. And so that's something that we can continue to strive to get into people's hands.
Okay, thank you. Our next question talks about how the chamber communicates with our members. We want to know how we can communicate more effectively. So would that mean possibly more or less phone calls to our members, maybe more or less emails, or maybe possibly direct mail? Like, how do you feel our communication is towards our members? Beverly?
I think it's fine. I think if we went direct mail, it would have an expense to it. And I enjoy getting your emails. I read each and everything that you put out, and it's on there. And if I need to forward it, I forward it. But I like all the information about the businesses in the county I live in, and I really try to support them instead of going out of the county. But
Great.
I think
You
the
don't
emails
think,
pardon?
oh, and you don't think you get too many emails per week, or too less of emails?
Nope, I think it's just fine.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. Robin?
I agree. I look forward to the emails, and honestly, I belong to a couple different memberships, and out of all of them, I think Brown County Chamber is the best. It's the most informative, so I always know what's going on, and I think it's great. I wouldn't change anything.
Okay, great. Thank you.
That's all good to hear. We like to hear that stuff.
Yes, we do.
The only thing that I've been kind of recommending it, and I think we might do something here towards the end of the year too, is we do have several people that don't provide us with an email, or that we don't reach specific people with an email. So I have recommended that we at least do one paper type of newsletter or something like that a year, just to make sure that we're hitting all of those people, even the ones that aren't so tech savvy.
Yes, that's a good point to make, because we do know that sometimes emails don't always make it through, or people's emails have changed and they maybe didn't update us, that kind of thing. So we do want to make sure that we are communicating the most effective way to reach everybody. So yeah, thank you for that. And then I think we're getting close on time, but we have one last question. So our last question is thinking forward into possibly more virtual types of events into 2021. Is there anything that you would like to see us do virtually, whether it be a training topic or something specific that your business would benefit from learning?
I'll have to bow out of this again because, like I said, I'm only part-time now, and working just 2 days a week. I basically I do the jobs I'm assigned for those days. So I know people were working full-time. I know when I was working full-time, I would have had a lot of opinions.
Okay, thank you. Robin?
I don't know about any kind of extra training, but maybe, like we did the raffles when we had the in-person meetings, maybe we could do that through Zoom. I don't know how we'd go about it, but I'd certainly be willing to donate a raffle basket, or just kind of, do it like we do the in-person, so we don't feel like we're missing out. But I don't know the logistics, how you would handle that, but I think it would be fun.
Okay. It's an interesting idea. Thank you. Anna?
Yeah. And those are the ideas we keep tossing around. We're just trying to figure out the logistics of it now. So that's all good feedback, and the fact that, someone else is also kind of looking for how do we do this with a virtual and an in-person versus just virtual, just in person. It's always good to kind of have that feedback, because that's what we've been discussing.
Yes. Well, thank you, all of you. I think we definitely got some good feedback there. I'm going to check with the other groups and see how close they are to being done. And then we're going to come back together as a large group and kind of share some of this feedback. So give me just a minute.
I want to hear from somebody from Columbus.
You don't sound very sorry. Are you guys about ready for present? Okay.
All right, it seems as though we have fairly well done our small group work and come up with some ideas to share with one another. So I think I'll let the Zoom group start by reporting the highlights of what you found.
Okay. All right. So as far as which topic speaker training did they enjoy the most at 2020, it actually went back to 2019 because we didn't have a lot of 2020 information to follow on. And everybody said the event that we held at the farm was like their most memorable event. And we were really disappointed when we couldn't have the event at the farm this year. So maybe that is something we can try to work in towards next year. And then they also said the breakfast was really well done this year with our theme and the amount of participation that we had. As far as trainings and topics they would like to see in 2021, we had a healthcare representative on the line, and they said they would like an in-depth training on hospice. So we let them know that you will be speaking today, but they would like maybe to see something more in-depth about hospice service. And then something to do with small business taxes. Now that a lot of businesses have the PPP funds and the EIDL funds, like how is that going to affect your taxes going into next year? So that was one of the suggestions. As far as events, whether they would attend in person or virtual, most of our group would rather attend virtual due to being in the healthcare industry or healthcare concerns. So at this time, more virtual events or combination so that they have the choice. As far as holding events in the future, they believe that we should plan all the types of events that we used to plan in the past, just be flexible. For example, trying to hold them outside or doing a combination virtual and in person, but that we shouldn't put a halt on anything, that we should just go forward and be flexible. And then as far as what benefits do they use, most of them were mostly interested in the non-tangible benefits, such as like the networking and getting their name and information out in front of the other members. That a lot of them would like maybe more information about some of the money saving and more of the tangible benefits, but they joined the chamber for the networking events and things like that. And then as far as communication goes, everyone said that they loved the emails, that we sent out the perfect amount each week, and they didn't have any suggestions on communications other than maybe doing some sort of mailing or something to get in front of those people that maybe didn't have an email or weren't as tech savvy as some of the other people. And then any virtual ideas going forward in the future, we had a suggestion of maybe an online raffle or something like that. So that was our group's answers.
Beth, is your group ready to report?
Sure. We got stuck on question 3.
Well, I don't feel so bad now because we didn't cover everything either.
Okay. All right. Am I in a good spot? Yep. Okay. All right. So which topic, speaker, training did you enjoy the most in 2020? Well, our group kind of looked back, and where I was kind of out in the middle of the year, the only thing we really could remember that stuck out in our mind, Jerry said, was Rankin House, and Betty, what was Betty's last name? Betty Campbell there at that event. The only suggestion they had was to move it to afternoon or evening so they actually could enjoy the view, because I reckon it was foggy and you couldn't see anything. So maybe same location, different time of day. What topic, speaker, training would you like to see in 2021? And this is pretty much where our conversation stopped at, because we got hooked on this question. How to function in a post-COVID world, or a continuing COVID world. We would like to see more Zoom train, we want to educate our chamber membership on how to Zoom, how to virtual train, how to share online, and how to utilize new skills that we didn't use before COVID. Because a lot of us, the table that I had, were pretty much the marketing department people. And Jerry had a lot of questions in regards to, how are we doing these things? So we want to make sure that we train those of us who have the skills, want to make sure we share the skills with those of us who are not familiar with the skills. At state restrictions about large gatherings ease, we chose combination in-person virtual. We really think it should be up to the individual. But in my personal opinion, I base that more upon my workload and my necessary presence in the office. So if I have to be there, then I like having the virtual option rather than the being absent option. What small group gatherings should the chamber host while the pandemic conditions exist? We marked everything because, and on my opinion, and I think they agree, we need to continue on, just not sit stagnant in the water. So we need to find ways to adapt, but to continue. Which chamber member benefits your business currently using? I know in the past I've used the online job posting, chamber spotlight, and the email marketing, and we really didn't fill that in the best because we got kind of out of time. What benefits would you like to see additional training about? Virtual anything pretty much, how to do things with the social distancing and communication. I know Jerry marked more phone calls, but I have to agree with what the previous group said about the emails. It's not overkill, it's not underkill. I get the information I need, and so it's not too much or not enough. It's just right in the middle. And what ideas, do you have ideas on trainings, events the chamber can provide you in virtual settings that would benefit you and your business? And again, it was a virtual marketing, how to market my business to people without face-to-face marketing. Sure.
Excellent reporting so far. While I did almost beg my group members for somebody else to report rather than me talking again, no one stepped up, so you get to hear from me. It's all me, talking head. So we also struggled with remembering what did we do in 2020 and what was there to look at. Rankin House was a big one that stood out in people's minds though. And several ideas for training in 2021 include information about solar energy programs, the Street Smart drug education program, CPR training, and finding out more about the economic plans of the county. And so perhaps having the commissioners or Kelly Cole come in and do a presentation or two. As far as the kinds of monthly membership meetings, and I was very interested to hear what the virtual group would say, because people here in person like the in-person and want to continue doing that. But we also talked a little bit about what might be driving people's decisions to either be here in person or virtual. And Beth, you addressed that in terms of what decisions you have to make in terms of your own business. But it was brought up that the mask issue and the mandated restrictions are dividing people. And that often is, if you don't have a choice, you prefer not to have to do some of the social distancing restrictions. So it'd be interesting to see if we get more feedback along those lines. But our thought was, if we can create enough space, create enough social distancing, and then give people, as Dave had described in how they handled the spaghetti dinner, where they separated the tables and people could choose to wear a mask or not, as long as we're following the government guidelines for the chamber. Having an option and making your decision seems to be something that's of interest in people. In terms of benefits, the energy savings program, prescription drug savings card, and then the chamber spotlight, email marketing, and online job postings are some of the things we already use. There is a lot of interest in finding out more about the retirement program, though, and several others, which will report background checks, health benefits. And we didn't specifically answer the question about the communication, but know that we need to do a better job of promoting the chamber informally to the people that we come in contact with. We also would like to see our local representatives, representative and or senator after the election, and we know who's going to be in which positions, and have them come so that they can hear directly from chamber members, and we can find out what's going on in Columbus that impacts us. So those are our quick small group answers. I'm going to again encourage everyone to please complete your own individual form and get it to the chamber. That email will be coming out later, later today. So that will be available to you to complete. So we get individual responses as well. And we will be using this as the board starts to do its strategic planning process. Anything else about that you can think of the survey? All right. Well, terrific. We seem to still be on time, and it's now the opportunity of our host and co-host to give their presentations. I know that we were approached by Friendly Meadows earlier, and they've had some staffing concerns this morning, and so they probably will not be presenting themselves, but they are our host. Fortunate to be able to do this outside in the warmest part of the day. But I'd like to turn this over to our co-host, Ohio Valley Hospice of Hope, and it looks like you're going to be gearing up for a bigger kind of presentation or training later on for our members, since that's something that's of interest to people. But I welcome you to come up here and tell people about what Ohio Hospice Valley of Hope does.
Okay, if I sit down, I guess.
Sure can.
I'm at a good location here, good
Yep.
volume.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for having me and the invite today. It's always a pleasure to come to talk about our product, help educate others on what we do. It's been a very difficult year to do that, so any opportunity is a good opportunity. As you know, Hospice of Hope Ohio Valley is a nonprofit end-of-life care organization. We've been serving this community and your communities for 32 years now, so it's been a long time. We started in 1988, so we're still a young company, but company's been around for 32 years. Our mission is to provide the highest quality hospice care to those that are facing incurable or chronic illnesses. So that's what our main focus is. For those that don't know, our organization spans 12 counties. We have 6 counties in the state of Kentucky and 6 in Ohio. Particularly the Ohio counties that we're currently in are Adams, Brown, Claremont, Clinton, Highland, and Pike. And a little teaser, well, we're actually going to make an expansion this year, so that's coming in just a second. You'll hear about that. We have 2 administrative offices that we primarily do business out of. We have one in our Kentucky market, and we have one right here in Mount Orr in Brown County. So that's our 2nd administrative offices. A lot of people will drive by that office and say, I don't see a lot of cars there, a lot of people going in and out. Is that a good thing? That's actually an excellent thing, because we don't take care of people out of that office. We take care of people in their homes or where they live. nursing homes, assisted livings, and the hospitals. That's just a stopping ground. That's just a spot where we can lay our items and pick up and go and have meetings and etc. So if you drive by and don't see a lot of cars there, that's a good thing. That means we're out taking care of people. In addition to our offices, we do have 13 care center rooms that we've dedicated, and we're the only one in those counties that I mentioned earlier in Ohio that has a dedicated hospice care center. And we do have 5 beds at Adams County Regional Medical Center. We have that on the 2nd floor there, and that's an independently owned space that we lease from the hospital. And we do operate that, we staff that, and we can kind of control that environment as much as we can. So that's an advantage to Brown County residents, that we have a dedicated hospice venue right in your backyard. Fun fact, well, I guess it's not fun, but since 1990, our organization's taken care of over 16,500 people. That's just patients. Countless family members. You know, you think each of those patients may have 1, 2, 3, 5 family members, and we're there as well with those family members. But 16,500 people is quite a touch that we've had in those years. So we kind of really consider ourselves more of a community partner than any type of business. We've been there right next to your loved one. We've been holding hands to your family member, your mom, your dad, your next of kin. So we're really proud of ourselves on that type of web that we've been able to span for 32 years. From an employment standpoint, we actually employ over 145 people. Those people include nurses, hospice aides, social workers, counselors, chaplains, and then of course the support staff. We also employ a full-time physician, 2 nurse practitioners, and a full-time medical director. So, you know, for someone, when you drive by the office and don't see a lot of cars, we actually employ quite a bit of people. But our business is primarily in where those people are, not in our offices. That's just a little bit of history of who we are. As mentioned earlier, we do offer a lot more in-depth conversations about and education about what we do, how we do it, how we do that. We offer programs such as pain management, eligibility, hospice 101. And most typically, those are done. We come to that place of business that like those, or that, like the question earlier, if they'd like to contact us or have contact Aaron Richmond, we would love to come to that facility or that location and do specific training, customized to what those needs are. Hospice is one of those subjects where everyone wants to talk about it, everyone wants to know about it, but they really don't want to know about it at the same time. So it's really kind of a taboo thing. I want to know about it, but I really need for you to force that to me, because I'm probably not going to ask that question, and I'm glad someone did ask, and we'd be happy to do that. 2020, as all of us in this room knows, and those on Zoom know, has been a very challenging year. Historically, our biggest referral sources have been hospitals and nursing homes, and hospitals and nursing homes are facing unprecedented shortages, and we're hearing some nursing homes that say they're having decade-low occupancy rates. If a facility is half full, well, that's half the opportunity per se to give hospice referrals. And if people aren't going to the hospitals, that's less referrals that we can expect to come back to the organization. The unfortunate part about that is people are still suffering chronic illnesses and incurable illnesses every day, regardless if hospice folk gets the referral or not. So we're asking people, during this time to help acknowledge that. And I will say it now, and I'll say it again in a moment, that anyone can make a referral. If you do have to go to, if you're not going to the hospital, if you're not going to a nursing home, you're not going to your primary care doc, if you feel like someone is needing end-of-life care, pick up the phone and call our 800 number, call our local number. You do not have to wait for that referral. Once you make that phone call, we do all the legwork. We'll contact your primary care physician. We'll contact your doctors or your specialists. We'll get all that paperwork, and you can kind of do all that in the comfort and safety of your own home without having to go to a facility. And you can do that without the wait. As we mentioned earlier, COVID-19, it's all we hear about. It seems like that's all we've been talking about since March. And I think that survey came at a great time earlier. One of our group was talking about how we operate more efficiently in a COVID world. We've talked about it internally, and we kind of got a pass this year. Everything is kind of shut down because of COVID. In 2021, our big initiative, and even into the 2020, is how do we kind of say, you know, COVID's there, but we've got to work around it. We can't like turn our backs on it anymore. We've got to face it. We've got to operate. We've got to do business. So if it's there, we know it's there. How do we get around that? And you know, I think the answer in 2020 has been, we'll just cancel this event. We just won't go to do that. We can't do this because of that. In 2021, I think our initiative is, how do we do this? We have to do this. We have to find a way. What's the workaround to do this? So I think we've kind of got to build upon that. So during this time, we've had to tweak what we do. We focus much more today on patient and safety, but also frontline employees. You know, we want to make sure our employees are safe. You know, if we don't have nurses and social workers and they catch a infectious disease such as COVID-19, we can't take care of your loved one. So we have to protect ourselves. We have to protect you. And I can say today that we have been very, you know, as of this presentation, we have not had to lay off any staff members. We, you know, due to attrition, we have not filled some positions, but we have taken a slight downturn with all those things that we mentioned earlier. But we've been very fortunate we have not had to do that. And I can tell you today, our organization and our care is as safe as ever. It's amazing the PPE and the equipment and the training and the knowledge that our staff members have. So if you do feel like you need hospice care, don't think I'm afraid to because of these infectious diseases. You know, we are very staffed and we are very trained on those types of subjects. You know, as we move into late 2020 into 2021, I think we mentioned it earlier in this group, is we have to adapt. And that's our big focus right now, is how do we adapt, and how do we adapt quickly? You know, if we can't get in front of people, how do we do this more virtually? And, you know, in a hospice setting, and which is a very touchy-feely type of an organization, how do we touch and feel in a virtual climate? It's very difficult to do that. So we're trying to figure out how we can do more one-on-one meetings versus, you know, 1-on-30. We're trying to figure out how we can do more things in a safe environment. But right now, we're trying to educate about, we're protecting ourselves, we're protecting you. Don't hesitate to make those phone calls, because it's just as safe as ever with what we have. Now, we might look different. We might have different gloves on, different masks on, different clothes on, but we're safe. So I think it's important to note today, as I close, that the hospice referrals don't have to be made from a medical facility. You can do this in the comfort of your own home. Recently, we just, many of you on the call and in this room may have gotten it in your local papers. We sent out a flyer about 7 reasons to choose Hospice of Hope now versus maybe in the future. And we talk about many of the reasons. One of them is, instead of you going to a large organization or to a hospital, we can come to you. So that's less exposure. We talked about, you know, sometimes some of our churches and some of our worshiping services have been closed down. We do offer chaplain services that can help enhance what you already believe, and we can kind of help pray and do the things that you want to do in the comfort of your own home. We talked about how some of the legwork you have to do as a individual to get some of these medical records and all these types of things done. You don't want to go out and do those types of things because of safety. If you call Hospice of Hope, we can do those things for you. So there's lots of little things that we can do and do the legwork while you sit there safe and comfortable. So as we close, I did have a couple of new announcements. You know, we're going to expand our footprint, actually starting in the fourth quarter now and into 2021 for the first time since 2010. We are now entering the southern part of Ross County, and we're going into Hamilton County, specifically Anderson Township. So our organization will be announcing that, you know, we're going to go from 12 counties to 14 counties. So we're able to do that. And I'm also proud to say that it's not just a hospice folks that we need to expand. It's those communities picking up the phone and saying that we'd love to have your brand. We'd love to have the hospice product in those areas. Our residents really they've seen those 14,500 people, talked to one of those people. They want the Hospice of Hope brand. So we're excited to say that. In addition, we're going to be continuing to work in our transitions program. And many of our transitions program that is a transition from hospital to home. It's more of like an eyes and ears once you get discharged from the hospital. You know, you may not be hospice eligible, but you may have a chronic illness. And once you do get discharged from the hospital, we can kind of watch for a period of time to make sure everything is being taken care of. So it's just that extra eyes and ears on our patients. That's the Hope Transition Program. And as I mentioned earlier, we love to do any type of training that you want. If it's safety concern and you don't want us coming to your facility or to your place of business, by all means, we can set up some type of a Zoom for you. We can probably even supply a laptop or equipment to get that to you, and we can do that virtually. Hospice Hope prides itself on the quality and compassion of our employees and dedication to our mission and vision. These values have been what made Hospice Hope who they are today, and I don't think with COVID-19 it kind of hit us and knocked us back for a second, but we rebounded, and we plan to be as strong as ever in 2021, regardless of COVID-19 or not. We're positioned, and we know there's people out there that need our services, and it's our mission to provide those services. So thank you for your time today, and by all means, reach out to us if you have any additional questions.
Thank you so much for that presentation on Hospice of Hope, Ohio Valley. That was very enlightening. And I will give you a little plug. Several years ago, my best friend's mother was passing from cancer, and she was at the Adams County Hospice facility, at your facility in the Adams County Regional Medical Center, and it was fantastic. And she got fabulous care. So, and yeah, don't wait to make the call if you think someone is in need of that service. I do not have any other business. I don't see anyone from Friendly Meadows here to give a presentation, but we thank them again for the facility. Who knew on a Thursday morning this early there would be so much traffic at a golf course? But that's great. Local businesses are doing well. Is there anything else, Missy, that you can think of?
The golf course did say after the meeting, if you want to stop by the clubhouse and see Ken, he has a free round of golf for all of you. So pick up your little gift certificate and come back and play a round of golf.
Wonderful. And with that, my clock says 9:02. You've all been very patient, and we really appreciate the input that you've given us today. Thank you so much for participating. Meeting is adjourned, and hope to see you next time.